female and I were on this deployment with 5th Special Forces, 18, 2 females, myself and another female, and 300 Caribbean Special Forces. We've never understood why they sent 2 women and all these men. But we went, and it was really fun. It was really funny. Men with wives, you know, we pack a lot more than you. It takes more for us than it do for you all.
That's right.
So the colonel that's in charge of the 18 comes to pick me up. And I have all these bags. And he says, what are you going to do with these? I said, these are my bags. Because I'm used to deploying with all. And in the end, see, I had a lot of soldiers underneath me. Like when I went to Desert Storm, I think by the time I got my National Guard, and I had about 500 soldiers I was supervising. And I've always had a lot of soldiers to supervise. I need a lot of things. I need to be able to take care of them, take care of me. And he looked at these bags. He says, well, can you carry them? I says, yeah, because I put my rucksack on my back and my duffel bag in my hand. He says, no, can you run with them? How far do I have to run? He said, for your life. I says, I think I need to repack. Because I could only carry what I could physically carry on my back and manage my weapon and protect myself at the same time. So yes, I had to repack. The men were great. They built us our own little house. They built us a shower. They built things for us that the Special Forces never had for themselves. They really took care of us. And we were there, the 2 females were there. We were there to train the Caribbean soldiers in our job. But I'm sure they could have got a man to do it. Why? But anyway, they chose us. I look at the things that the Army has done around the world to secure our freedom. As we sit here today in this library, and we take it so for granted that we could drive down the street, come in here without any threat to our lives. But you go to different places around the world, and I tell people, even in Europe, in the early 80s, the terrorist threat was so great that you didn't pick up a paper bag. You didn't take for granted that it was a napkin on the ground. If there was something under your car, you didn't move your car. You get Polizei, you get somebody to check it out. On base, a young man had left his briefcase sitting in the middle of the field when they were processing. And when he saw his briefcase again, it was blown to bits. You didn't touch anything that you didn't know exactly where it came from. The terrorist threat in Europe has been great for many years. We in America are just beginning to realize what terrorism is, and our threat still, we have some threat levels, but they're nothing like the European threat levels. We take for granted that this is just the way that it is, but it took soldiers to secure our rights and our freedom to be able to do the things that we do. You talk to soldiers and they can all give you funny stories about what they went through and what life was like in the military. But until you've seen other countries, experienced other cultures and governments, and understand that our government and our culture is far above any other, and it is being secured by those men and women in uniforms, you will learn to appreciate our veterans around the world. This has been a beautiful Veterans Day. I got up this morning, it was cold and the sun was shining, and the program at First Presbyterian was wonderful, and I told the choir I just loved them. It's been a beautiful Veterans Day. And because of the men and women that wear the uniform, we have been able to experience and enjoy the day that we have. You know, I said that I'm a preacher, and I'm getting ready to close. I'm a preacher. Our freedom of religion that we have here in our country is far more than any other. In Somalia, another E7 and I, we were feeding the displaced and orphan children that were there. We never really got an accurate count of how many children we fed. We know that it was over 500 because UNICEF gave us a kit 250 bowls and cups, and we gave all of those out, and kids were using tin cans, and we would feed them twice a day. Our command let us do it. They said we just couldn't use our soldiers. I had enough soldiers that knew what to do. We fed them twice a day. They had interpreters that always, wherever I went, I had interpreters. But the Somali says, you can't be Christians. They would always say, you can't be Christians because we were too nice. You can't be Christians because you're not mean. And finally I got a chance to sit down with my interpreters to find out what was it that they were talking about. Why did they figure that all Christians were mean? And the only thing they knew about Christianity was the Crusades. When the church was coming over and they were going to make the Muslims switch to Christianity, and they were doing it by war. That was their only idea of Christianity, and they had never come in contact with Christians before because the country wasn't open to missionaries. And we continued our whole mission to feed these children. I'd like to say that Sergeant Scott and I opened the door for missionaries because 2 years after we left there, the country opened their doors to allow missionaries in to evangelize the country. The military has influenced the world in so many ways. In culture, in religion, in law, and we should be proud of our men and women in uniform, here and abroad. You know that there are more reservists that are going now, more young people, more women, and if you've never been shot at, it's nothing that you want to experience. When I stepped off of the truck in Haiti, I tell people around went so close I felt the heat. And I said, thank you, Jesus. Somebody said, why would you say thank you, Jesus? I said, it didn't hit me. It was that close to me, and it didn't hit me. I thank God for that. But we need to recognize, you know, I've been retired since '95, and I'm an old veteran, but we have young boys and girls that's going out there every day that's risking their lives to protect our freedom and our rights that we take so for granted here in this country. We just assume that they're ours and nobody can take them. But I think 9/11 let us know that we still have threats, and we still need to keep our guards up, and we still need to keep our armed forces up, and we need to support our troops. And I want to thank you all for here. I didn't talk too long, did I? Did I talk like a Baptist preacher? Did I talk too long? And I want to thank you all for hearing me and just for having me here. I don't want to bore you. Thank you.
Sounds like a good day to debate. What church do you pastor?
I don't pastor. I'm the youth pastor at Morning Star.
Ms. Emma, would you please come forward? On behalf of the Humboldt Public Library, we would like to thank you for a very good program. And when I called Emma, she was at work, and I said, Emma, you know Veterans Day is coming up. She said, yes. I said, would you please come to the library and be our speaker? She said, you know what, Felita, you are the first person to ask me. I said, well, you know what? I know you're not going to say no. She said, I can't say no. Emma, we have really enjoyed you today, and every day is Veterans Day.
Yes.
Not just today, but I feel like every day is Veterans Day. And we appreciate you for coming, and feel free to come back again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, that's nice. I'll turn the program back over to Ms. Diane, our director of the Humboldt Public Library.
Well, I think that's all. We do appreciate you coming. Like Emma said, we've had a wonderful day today,
Yes.
and we've heard some terrific music and wonderful talks. We really have. So thank you all. If you have some questions or want to nibble around and talk to Emma, Ms. Reed, or visit with each other, if you want to take a tour of the library, that's wonderful. So just